Hey guys, what's going on? This is Shadow, and today I'm going to be bringing you an updated deck profile of my Blackwing deck for February 2021. Now, I'm really excited about being able to bring you this update because I just changed a few things around in this deck, made it a little bit better, and I just hope you guys enjoy it. So before I get started though, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this video if you haven't yet, and please click that notification bell so that way you get updated on all my deck profiles, any unboxings that I do, or any test hands and combo videos that I do. Alright, so with any further that, let's go ahead and get started, guys. And make sure also to post a comment on the section. I always love reading them, and I'll always try to respond to you as quickly as possible. Now, there's not going to be too much updated, just a few things, but it does make a difference in it, in my opinion, and I think you guys are going to like it. This is my favorite deck of all time, like I've said in my channel before, so I'm just so excited about being able to bring you guys this deck profile again. So, first we're going to start off with Blackwing, Simoon the Poison Wind. This is possibly one of the best cards. This is like one of the top 5 cards in this deck, and one of the cards you do need. How you play it is reveal it in your hand, and you can remove from play a Blackwing monster, then immediately activate Black Whirlwind, which is the spell card, from your deck. So that is very, very important since Black Whirlwind is a staple and a must in this kind of deck. And then what you can do from here is you can summon him, activating that effect, and then you can search your deck for a Blackwing monster, add it to your hand, and then you can normal summon that monster on top of this. So it gives you 2 summons in one. So he's really, really good to be able to get Black Whirlwind out on the field, and then activate his effect, you can get that additional summon, which is what you're going to need for this deck. Then you got 3 copies of Chris the Crack of Dawn. Chris is really, really good. He's not as good as Bora, like I said before, but he is just as good. He has the effect once per turn. He can special summon himself if you have a face-up Blackwing monster on the field, but it is only once per turn. So just be careful of that and just remember that. But he is still really good because he has 1900, and once per turn, if you want to, he's a beat stick, and he is unaffected by spells and traps. And then you got 3 copies of one of the best cards in this deck, Blackwing Boar the Spear. This guy is crazy, crazy good. He does so much in this deck. Basically, he's like Gale. You can special summon this guy as many times as you want during the turn. And what I mean by that is, I don't mean that you can, like, you know, when you bounce back, as long as you control a Blackwing monster on the field, you can special summon this card. So meaning that if you bounce it back, you can do it again, bounce it back, do it again if you have an effect that does that. And he's so, so good. So you're going to want 3 copies of him. He's one of the main cards in this deck because he can be searched using 4 Strix. He can be special summoned by having Zephyros the Elite in the graveyard, and then special summoning him, bouncing him back, and then playing him again. So it's really, really important. He's one of the best cards in this deck, in my opinion. Alright, and then I got 3 copies of Oster the Southwind. Oster is really good because he is a tuna monster, level 4, and he's used mainly to bring out full Armor Master, but he's also used in a lot of other ways, and he's also used to bring out my Borreload Savage Dragon that I'm going to show you later. What he does is when he is normal summoned, he cannot be special summoned, but when he's normal summoned, you can choose a banished Blackwing monster from your banish zone, and you can special summon it back to the field. So the monster that you used to banish using Simoon, you can normal summon this guy and then special summon the card back to the field. Okay, you got 3 copies of Zephyros the Elite. And before I continue, also with Oster, if you guys don't know, he also has an additional effect that if he's in the graveyard, you can remove him from play to place a wedge counter on all your opponent's face-up monsters. So that does come in handy with the Full Armor Master effect later on if you choose to do that, but mainly he's just really good for that normal summon. Then you got Zephyros the Elite. Zephyros the Elite, you only need 1 copy in this deck. Mainly he's good to bring out using 4 Strix, but, or not 4 Strix, Y Strix, I apologize. He can be once per turn, he's in the graveyard, you can return a face-up card to the hand to special summon this from the graveyard. So what you're going to want to do is you usually mainly either send Black Whirlwind back to your hand, or you can send the Boar the Spear back to your hand, and you can special summon them from the graveyard. And then you can also special summon the Gale or the Boar or whatever that you have that's face-up that can come back like that. Then you got 3 copies of Gale the Whirlwind. Gale is really good because he cuts your one monster's face-up attack and defense in half if you want to, and he is just like Bora. He can be special summoned as many times per turn. He doesn't have a limit if he gets sent back to the hand. And he's really good because he's a tuner monster, he's level 3, and he's one of the original Blackwings out of the Crimson Crisis set that came out over 10 years ago. Alright, so then I got 1 copy of Gladius the Midnight Sun. You only need 1 Gladius, and he is a good extender because he interrupts the play. If you're playing and you have Oster in your hand, or say that you've already summoned like Simoon the Poison Wind. I'm just giving you an example. If you have Simoon the Poison Wind, if you have Oster, and before that, if you have Gladius, you get a Gladius, you can interrupt by special summoning Gladius, because as long as you have at least one face-up Blackwing monster on the field, you can special summon this card. So he is tricky somewhat, but it's worth it because you can continue and extend your combo by using him, and then you can normal summon after you've special summoned him. Okay, then I've got 3 copies of Gus the Backblast. Now this is kind of different. I know a lot of people don't play this. I did pick this combo up months ago by a Dark Arm Duelist, so you should make sure to check out his channel. He's got really, really awesome reviews and deck profiles. And Gus the Backblast is really good because if you have no cards in your hand or no cards on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, he's good for the Allure of Darkness in this deck to just get him to remove him from play, and then summon him back also with Simoon, summon him back with Oster the South Wind. So the idea is to have him, and if you don't want to use him, if you have Simoon, you can banish this card if you have it in your hand, and is a good extender, and then use Oster to special summon him back. Plus, he's really good because if you have no cards in your hand, you can special summon him. So that's an extra, card that you can get on the field. Okay, and then I got two copies of Hamartin the Dust. Hamartin, I hope I'm saying that wrong, and I do apologize if I'm butchering that. Hamartin the Dust is a really good card because once per turn, you can special summon this card, and he can change his level depending on a face-up Blackwing monster on the field. So say you have a Oster the South Wind on the field. Well, he's already a level 2, so you can make it a level 2, add 4 levels to it to make it a level 6, and then go into full Armor Master if you so choose. Plus, he's really good for that extra special summoning because the point of this deck is to have as many monsters on the field as possible so you can continue with all your plays because you're going to have a lot of them. And then 1 copy of Blackwing Blizzard the Far North. Blizzard is really good for extending your plays because when he's normal summoned, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Blackwing monster from the graveyard in defense position, so it allows you to get a monster back from the graveyard. 2 copies of Orochi the Squall. Orochi is a level 1 tuner, which makes him very, very valuable in this deck. You can go from a level 6 to a level 7 with him, which is the old Notham the Sterlite and then Obsidian Tamer Hawkjoke combo. Also, he has an additional effect that he can change the battle position of a face-up monster on the field if he's used as a synchro summon. So that's always really good. And that's it for my Blackwings, guys. This is going to be the guys I considered the original Gangsta, the original Blackwings, DD Crow. These are my hand traps because I wanted to continue with more of like a Winged Beast theme. So it was really great that these are already Winged Beast and their Dark types. On top of that, if your opponent has a monster or anything in the graveyard, spell, trap, monster, you can quickly activate the effect, discard this card to the graveyard to remove that card from play. So it kind of stops your opponent from activating anything in the graveyard, so that way it doesn't get too messy. And then the only Phantom Knight card that I have in this deck is Phantom Knight monster is going to be Silent Boots. He's really good just for extending, activating Rusty Bardich's effect to dump him in the graveyard, and then getting that Fog Blade that you're going to need for this deck. So he's going to be the only Phantom Knights in here that you do need to play if you're going with this kind of play. And that's going to be it for the monsters, guys. Let's move on to the spells and traps. Alright, so the first going to be 3 copies of Black Whirlwind. This is essential. This is probably the #1 card in this deck that you're going to want because this allows you to go crazy on all your moves and all your plays. And basically, if you have a Blackwing on the field, you normal summon a Blackwing if this is on the field, and then you can search your deck for a Blackwing that has less attack than it and add it to your hand. Now, what makes that really good is if you have like a Boar of the Spear, you can search for a Gale, you can search for Oster, you can search for anything below 1700. If you have a Chris, you can search for anything pretty much in this deck, period. And it searches for anything that's below 1900. So it just keeps going down, but that makes it really good because you can search for pretty much anything in this deck that's just below the monster that you normal summoned. And then you get 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. This is a great draw into, this is a really good way to draw into your combos. Basically, all you have to do is you just draw 2 cards, which is great because they allow you to draw 2 cards before you remove from play, and then you remove from play a dark monster. So that's pretty much all you have to do, which can benefit you because if you have Simoon or you have Oster can bring back the monster that you banished. And then I got one copy of Soul Shade Force. This is going to be for my Cyber Dragon combo in here, or Cyber Dragon Infinity that I have in this deck. That's mainly what's in here. You pay 4,000 life points, and you're going to special summon 4 Strix from the graveyard, and then equip the Cyber Dragon Infinity to it. Then I got one copy of Rank Up Phantom Knight's Force. Now, you're like, Rank Up Phantom Knight's Force? Why do you have that in the deck? I'm playing a different strategy. I'm playing with the Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon, and believe it or not, it is not hard to get this monster out on the field using this card. Because you can easily stack your graveyard to have 6 monsters. So you have 4 Strix on the field, you activate this card, and then you remove from play the 6 to special summon Ultimate Falcon, which is crazy. And then last but not least, one copy of Monster Reborn, guys. Make sure you give that a thumbs up just for that. The original OG LOB Monster Reborn. So you cannot go wrong with that at all. And that's it for the spells, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to the traps. So the only 2 traps I run in this deck are Fog Blade. I didn't want to, at the end of the day, I realized that I did have to have Fog Blade because it was more beneficial and it worked better and it was just more consistent and just overall a better choice for the deck. Because you can search this card. You cannot search for Blackbird Close, sadly. Even though Blackbird Close is an amazing card, don't get me wrong, you can only search for Fog Blade using Rusty Bardiche, which is pretty much what you're going to want to do because it's another negate. And that's what you have to do, is try to get as many negates as possible. Alright, so that's it for the deck, guys. Let's move on to the extra deck. So we got two copies of Full Armor Master. Full Armor Master is unaffected by anything. It cannot be affected by anything, so when it hits the field, it's a 3K, and it's really hard to get off the field once it's on there. And then it has the effect that it can remove a wedge counter of an opponent's monster to take control of it, and at the end phase of the turn, you can destroy all face-up monsters that have wedge counters on them, which is crazy. So if they attack it, they can't attack it because it can't be destroyed by card effects, or it can't be targeted by card effects. It can be destroyed by battle, but it has 3,000 attack. And it's really, really, really good, and it's really hard to get off the field. I got one copy of Full Armor Master, the original Synchro Blackwing, and it's pretty much the same thing as Full Armor Master, but Blackwing Armor Master just can't be destroyed by battle, and he places wedge counters on an opponent's monster that battles with it. Then when you attack it, you can remove a wedge counter to make their monsters attack 0. Then you got one copy of Raikiri the Rain Shower, Assault Blackwing Raikiri the Rain Shower. He destroys spells and traps on the field, which is really good. That's a good way to get rid of, or he destroys monsters or anything on the field, depending on the number of Blackwings that you have. So if you have like him plus 3 more Blackwings, you can destroy up to 3 cards on the field, which is really, really nifty and handy. Then you get one copy of Chidori the Rain Sprinkling. Chidori the Rain Sprinkling gets stupid big in this deck because you dump a lot of Blackwings in the graveyard by synchroing, Exceed playing, Link summoning, and all that stuff. So he can get really, really big. And, I mean, once he's on the field, if he's like you're facing a 4,400, 4,800, 5,000 monster on the field. Really hard to get around. And then I got one copy of Obsidian Tamerhawk Joe. You have to target him if he's on the field, and he can bring back a level 5 or higher Blackwing monster. So that's what you want to use to bring back Northrum the Starlight, which is the old combo from back in the day, years ago. And Northrum the Starlight gives you an additional normal summon or set, and he does 800 points of direct damage to your opponent when he gets summoned, and then he also decreases an attack of your opponent's monster by 800 points, one of them. So that's really nifty, especially if you're using that combo. And then the only synchro in here that's not a Blackwing is the Borreload Savage Dragon. Now, this guy can negate effects based off the number of the link monster that's on this in here, that their link total. So if you have a link 2, he has 2 negates on it. And then if you have link 3, 3 negates, link 4, 4 negates, and then so on and so forth. Alright, so that's it for the Synchro, guys. Let's move on to the Exceed monsters. And then I've got one copy of Ultimate Falcon. This guy is... words cannot describe how crazy this guy is. He is 3,500. He's 500 points attack higher than Full Armor Master, and he is very, very hard to get off the field, and chances are you're probably not going to be getting him off the field. He is unaffected by anything, so he is just like Full Armor Master, and also he can negate your opponent's face-up monster when he removes from play link material, or not link material, exceed material, guys. Sorry about that. And he's just overall an amazing card, which is why he's in the deck. Then I got one copy of Cyber Dragon Infinity. He's good for the negating the effect of a monster, so it's another negate on the field, and he's just really overall good for this deck. The only light monster that I have in here, so you see why Moon, makes it to where it locks you into dark. If you're not playing him, that's perfectly okay. That is the only non-dark monster that's in this deck. And then 2 copies of Force Strix. Now, most people only put 1 copy of Force Strix in here, which is you only have to do. I have 2 in this deck mainly because I can bring out Cyber Dragon Infinity. If I don't have Moon, I can bring out Cyber Dragon Infinity and Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon on the field at the exact same time, and I've done it before, and it's just crazy to get off the field. So I have a negate plus a monster that is unaffected by God. And then Borreload Savage Dragon, he's good to clean up the mess if I have any extra monsters on the field, because it only takes 3 effect monsters for him, and he cannot be affected by your opponent's monster's effect. And he also has a quick effect that he can basically take control of your opponent's monster when they attack it. Then you got 1 copy of Force Strix. This is what you're going to go into for Ultimate Falcon. This is what you're going to go in. This is what you want to play first. This is how you get your Force Strix. This is how you're going to get Zephyros the Elite. So he is a very pivotal card and a very important card in this deck. And then last but not least, the only other Phantom Knights card that I have, Rusty Bardiche. This is what you use to search for Fogblade and to get the rank up Phantom Knights force while dumping Silent Boots in the graveyard. So he's very important. Plus he has an effect that if you do activate an effect, an arrow that it points to, that monster gets destroyed. So that's also a really neat effect on top of that. But mainly you're going to want to use him to get the Fogblade. And that's pretty much what makes him so good. Alright guys, that's it for this review. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. This is such an awesome deck, and I'm glad you guys have any comments. Please post them in the comment section below, but overall, I love this deck. This is my favorite deck of all time, and I'm always going to be a Blackwing player forever, as long as this game is going around, and probably even longer than that. Alright guys, that's it for this deck profile, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and with that, see you guys next time. Later.